Let me ask you something. What if I told you that your life could begin to change in just 3 days? Not because of money, not because of people, but because Allah decides to amaze you. Right now, some of you are watching this with a heavy heart. You've been patient. You've been praying. You've been waiting and waiting and waiting. And you're wondering, why, Allah, do you even see me? Let me tell you this with absolute certainty. Allah sees you. Allah hears you. Allah has not forgotten you. Sometimes Allah delays not to punish you, but to prepare you. In the next 3 days, if you change one thing, Allah can change everything. Not your circumstances, not your job, not the people around you, but your connection with Him. Because when your connection with Allah changes, your life must change. Many people quietly carry the fear that they have been forgotten by Allah. Life becomes heavy, prayers feel unanswered, and days pass without the change they hoped for. In those moments, the heart whispers painful questions. Why is nothing happening? Why does everyone else seem to move forward while I remain stuck? But the truth is this: Allah has never forgotten you, not even for a single moment. Forgetfulness is a human weakness. It does not belong to the Creator of the heavens and the earth. Allah knows your name, your struggles, your tears, and even the thoughts you never speak out loud. Every sigh you release in exhaustion is known to Him. Every silent prayer you make in the depth of the night is heard. When things go quiet, it is easy to assume abandonment. But silence from Allah is not absence. It is often attention in a different form. Just because you do not see immediate results does not mean nothing is happening. Seeds grow in darkness before they ever break the surface. Roots spread underground long before a tree stands tall. In the same way, Allah works in ways hidden from your eyes, shaping outcomes that require time, patience, and trust. If Allah truly forgot you, you would not still feel the urge to pray. You would not still feel that pull in your heart toward Him. That feeling itself is proof that He is close. Allah reassures us again and again that He is aware of every burden we carry. He knows when your strength feels depleted. He knows when you smile for others but break down in private. He knows the nights you fall asleep asking Him for relief, and the mornings you wake up still carrying the same weight. None of that is invisible to Him. In fact, Allah is closer to you in hardship than you realize. Sometimes the strongest sign of His care is that He is shaping your heart before changing your situation. Because if the heart is not ready, even blessings can become burdens. There are moments when Allah delays an answer because He is protecting you from something you cannot yet see. What you are asking for may come later in a better form, at a better time, with less pain and more peace. Other times, Allah delays because He wants you to grow closer to Him, not just come to Him when you need something. He wants a relationship, not a transaction. And through patience, reliance, and repeated prayer, that relationship becomes stronger, deeper, and more sincere. Remember that Allah's mercy does not depend on your perfection. You do not need flawless faith for Allah to care for you. Even when your Iman feels weak, even when your dua feels heavy on your tongue, Allah remains the most merciful. He does not turn away from a servant who turns toward Him, even imperfectly. Your continued effort, your refusal to give up, your decision to keep trusting, these are all signs that Allah is still guiding you. So when your heart tells you that you have been forgotten, gently correct it. Tell it that Allah is Al-Alim, the all-knowing. Tell it that Allah is Al-Latif, subtle in His care. Tell it that Allah's plan unfolds with wisdom beyond human understanding. Your story is not over. Your delay is not denial. Your silence is not abandonment. Allah is present in every moment of your life, even the painful ones. And when the time is right, you will look back and realize that Allah was carrying you all along, closer than you ever imagined. When something you have been praying for does not arrive on time, the heart often interprets the delay as rejection. You begin to wonder if you did something wrong, if your faith was not strong enough, or if Allah has chosen to give others what you asked for instead. But delay in the hands of Allah is never random and never cruel. What feels like waiting to you is often careful preparation from Allah. He does not rush His plans, because His plans are built on wisdom, not impatience. What you see as late may actually be perfectly timed, according to a knowledge far greater than your own. Allah understands the full picture of your life, while you only see the moment you are standing in. You see the desire and the pain of not having it yet, but Allah sees what that desire would bring if it arrived too early. Sometimes an unanswered prayer is Allah shielding you from a test you are not ready to carry. Other times it is Allah reshaping your character so that when the blessing finally arrives, it does not break you, distract you, or pull you away from Him. Delay is not denial, it is design. Every pause has a purpose, even when that purpose is hidden. Think about how often people rush into things they begged for, only to later wish they had waited. A relationship, an opportunity, a change in life direction. Without the right foundation, even good things can become sources of pain. Allah, in His mercy, does not hand over blessings carelessly. He prepares you emotionally, spiritually, and mentally, so that what He gives you becomes a source of peace, not regret. While you wait, Allah is teaching patience, reliance, and trust, qualities that cannot be learned quickly, but are essential for lasting success in this life and the next. Delay also creates space for growth in your relationship with Allah. If everything came instantly, the heart would become attached to outcomes instead of the one who provides them. Waiting forces you to return to Allah again and again, refining your dua, softening your heart, and strengthening your reliance. In this process, Allah draws you closer to Him. Many people only realize later that the waiting period was the most spiritually transformative time of their lives. What felt painful was actually purifying. There are moments when Allah delays because He is aligning things beyond your awareness. People are being placed in your path. Circumstances are shifting. Obstacles are being removed quietly. What you ask for may require changes in others, not just in you. Allah works across time, hearts, and events in ways the human mind cannot comprehend. When everything finally comes together, it happens with a precision that leaves no doubt that only Allah could have planned it this way. It is also important to remember that Allah's love is not measured by speed. He is not more loving when He gives quickly, nor distant when He asks you to wait. His love is constant. His wisdom is flawless. Your responsibility is not to understand the timing, but to trust the one who controls it. Trust does not mean you stop feeling pain or stop wanting relief. It means you continue to believe that Allah knows what He is doing, even when you do not. One day, you will look back at what you thought was a painful delay and recognize it as protection. You will see how certain paths were closed to guide you toward better ones, how unanswered prayers led to greater answers, and how waiting preserved your faith instead of damaging it. On that day, you will realize that Allah did not withhold from you. He prepared you. And what arrives after divine preparation always arrives with wisdom, blessing, and peace. Many people spend years trying to change their lives by changing what is around them. They move to new places, chase new opportunities, surround themselves with different people. Yet the same emptiness and frustration often follow them. The reason is simple, but deeply overlooked. Real change does not begin outside of you. It begins in your connection with Allah. When that connection is weak, even success feels heavy. When that connection is strong, even hardship carries peace. Allah did not design transformation to start with circumstances. He designed it to start with the heart. Your relationship with Allah shapes how you see everything else. When you are distant from Him, problems feel overwhelming and blessings feel small. When you are close to Him, problems feel manageable and blessings feel meaningful. This is because reliance on Allah shifts the weight of life off your shoulders and places it where it belongs. You stop feeling like you must control everything, fix everything, and understand everything. You begin to trust that Allah is in control, and that trust brings calm in situations that once caused fear. Strengthening your connection with Allah does not require perfection. It begins with sincerity. A sincere prayer, even if short, carries more power than long words spoken without presence of heart. A single moment of genuine repentance can unlock doors that years of effort could not. Allah responds to honesty, humility, and consistency. When you turn to Him daily, even in small ways, you are telling your soul where safety truly lies. Over time, this consistency rewires how you respond to life's challenges. As your connection with Allah grows, your priorities begin to change. Things that once consumed your energy lose their grip. You become less shaken by people's opinions and less broken by temporary losses. This does not mean pain disappears, but it means pain no longer defines you. You understand that your worth is not tied to success, approval, or outcomes, but to your place as a servant of Allah. That realization alone transforms how you walk through the world. When the heart is connected to Allah, patience becomes possible. Gratitude becomes natural. Hope becomes resilient. Even during difficulty, there is a quiet confidence that Allah will not abandon you. This inner stability creates outward change. Decisions become clearer. Reactions become calmer. Relationships become healthier. Opportunities align not because you forced them, but because you moved in harmony with Allah's guidance. Allah promises that when a person remembers Him, He remembers them. This divine attention changes everything. When Allah supports you, obstacles that once felt immovable begin to shift. When Allah guides you, confusion begins to clear. When Allah blesses your efforts, small actions produce unexpected results. The external world responds differently when the internal connection is strong. Many people ask Allah to change their situation, while Allah is waiting for them to change their direction toward Him. Not because He withholds out of cruelty, but because lasting change cannot be built on a disconnected heart. When you fix the foundation, the structure stands firm. When you reconnect with Allah through prayer, remembrance, and trust, your life begins to reorganize itself around that connection. Transformation through Allah is not always loud or immediate. Sometimes it is subtle. You notice you worry less. You recover faster. You forgive more easily. You feel guided rather than lost. These are signs of real change. Over time, these internal shifts create visible outcomes that feel natural rather than forced. In the end, the greatest transformation is not a new job, a new relationship, or a new chapter in life. It is a heart that is anchored to Allah. From that anchor flows peace, strength, and clarity. And when the heart is right with Allah, the rest of life eventually follows, exactly as it was meant to. Many people underestimate what sincere consistency can do in a short period of time. They believe that change requires months or years, and while some transformations do take time, there are moments when Allah allows massive shifts to happen quickly. 3 days of sincere trust can be enough to soften a hardened heart, redirect a confused mind, and invite divine help into a situation that felt impossible. It is not the number of days that creates the change, but the depth of sincerity within them. When a servant turns to Allah with full reliance, even briefly, Allah responds in ways that surpass expectation. Trust is not passive. It is an active decision to place your fears, hopes, and outcomes in Allah's hands. During these days, trust means choosing prayer over panic, remembrance over worry, and hope over despair. Each time you resist the urge to complain and instead turn toward Allah, you are training your heart to rely on Him. That reliance opens doors that effort alone cannot open. Allah responds to hearts that lean on Him fully, not halfway, not as a last resort, but as the first and only refuge. 3 days of focused sincerity can interrupt years of spiritual neglect. When you wake up for prayer even while tired, when you make dua even while unsure, when you say Allah's name even while afraid, something shifts inside you. The heart becomes more aware, more present, and more receptive. This inner shift creates space for Allah's mercy to descend. Sometimes what changes first is not the situation, but your ability to carry it. And that itself is a powerful form of relief. Consistency during these days matters more than intensity. You do not need long hours of worship or perfect words. You need honesty. Speak to Allah as you are, not as you think you should be. Admit your weakness. Admit your fear. Admit your exhaustion. Allah is not repelled by your vulnerability. He is drawn to it. When a servant lowers themselves sincerely, Allah elevates them in ways they never imagined. These 3 days can also become a reset for the soul. The heart that was scattered becomes focused. The mind that was racing becomes calmer. The spirit that felt distant begins to feel closeness again. This renewed alignment changes how you move through life. You start noticing signs, feeling reassurance, and sensing guidance in small but meaningful ways. Allah often sends comfort before He sends solutions, because a steady heart is better prepared to receive blessings. It is important to understand that trusting Allah does not guarantee immediate visible results. Trust guarantees something deeper, peace in uncertainty. Even if the external situation remains unchanged after 3 days, the internal transformation can be profound. And when the inside changes, the outside eventually follows. Allah does not ignore sincere effort. Every prayer, every tear, every moment of reliance is recorded and rewarded in a way that is perfectly tailored to you. Sometimes Allah changes your path. Sometimes He changes your timing. Sometimes He changes your expectations. All of these are forms of mercy. 3 days of trust can be enough to break destructive patterns of fear, self-reliance, and despair. They can remind you that you are not alone, that your burden is seen, and that help is closer than you think. When you dedicate even a short time to sincere trust in Allah, you are declaring that you believe He is capable, attentive, and merciful. That declaration carries weight. Allah loves when His servants rely on Him completely. And when He sees that reliance, He responds with guidance, strength, and outcomes that align with His wisdom. Never underestimate what Allah can do with 3 days of genuine trust. Much of what Allah does in your life happens beyond your awareness. While you focus on what you can see and feel, Allah is arranging matters in places you cannot reach and through people you may never meet. This hidden work is one of the most beautiful signs of His care. Just because you do not see movement does not mean nothing is happening. In reality, Allah is often most active when things appear still. He operates behind the scenes, aligning events, softening hearts, and opening paths at the exact moment they are meant to unfold. Human vision is limited to the present moment, but Allah sees the past, present, and future all at once. He knows how one event connects to another, and how a single decision today can shape an entire lifetime. When you make a sincere dua, its impact does not always stay where you expect it. Allah may answer it by changing circumstances far away from you, or by preparing someone else to play a role in your story. What feels unrelated now may later become the key to your breakthrough. There are times when Allah delays visible change because the unseen work is not yet complete. Perhaps certain people need to exit your life before others can enter. Perhaps certain lessons must be learned before doors can open. Perhaps certain protections must be put in place before blessings can arrive safely. Allah's wisdom ensures that nothing is given prematurely. He builds outcomes layer by layer, ensuring stability, balance, and benefit. This careful preparation is an act of mercy, even when it tests your patience. While Allah works behind the scenes, He is also shaping you. Every moment of waiting strengthens endurance. Every unanswered question deepens humility. Every test of patience refines reliance. You may think you are simply enduring time, but in reality, Allah is molding your character. He is removing attachments that would harm you later and strengthening qualities that will serve you in what is to come. Often, the version of you who receives the blessing is not the version you were when you first asked for it. It is easy to lose hope when progress is invisible. The heart wants proof. It wants signs. But faith is built on trust in the unseen. Allah asks you to believe not because you see, but because you know who He is. He is Al-Hakim, the All-Wise, and His wisdom does not require explanation. When you continue to trust Him in silence, you are demonstrating a level of faith that Allah loves. That faith is never wasted. Many people only recognize Allah's hidden work in hindsight. Looking back, they see how certain paths were blocked to protect them, how certain delays prevented deeper pain, and how certain losses created space for better outcomes. What once felt confusing becomes clear. What once felt unfair becomes understandable. This clarity often arrives with gratitude, as the heart realizes that Allah's plan was always more compassionate than the one it imagined. Even now, as you wait, Allah is arranging conversations you have not yet had, opportunities you have not yet encountered, and moments that will change your direction. He is coordinating timing with precision that human effort could never achieve. Your role is not to force outcomes, but to remain open, patient, and trusting. When the time comes, things will move quickly, and what took months or years to prepare may unfold in moments. Trusting that Allah is working behind the scenes brings peace to the waiting. It allows you to rest your heart, knowing that nothing is being overlooked. Allah does not forget promises, prayers, or pain. Every detail is accounted for, and when His plan finally reveals itself, you will understand that the silence was not empty. It was full of divine preparation. There are moments in life when a situation feels so heavy that the mind cannot imagine a way out. You analyze every angle, try every option, and still see no solution. At that point, the heart quietly labels the situation as impossible. But what is impossible for you is never impossible for Allah. Your limits do not define His power. Your exhaustion does not restrict His ability. Allah is not confined by the rules that govern human strength, timing, or logic. He creates ease from places you never expected and opens doors that did not even seem to exist. Human beings measure possibility based on resources, influence, and control. Allah measures possibility based on His will alone. When He decides something, He simply says, "Be," and it is. That reality changes how a believer faces difficulty. You may not see a path forward, but Allah already sees the outcome. You may feel trapped, but Allah is not limited by the walls around you. He can change circumstances instantly or guide you through them gradually, both with perfect wisdom. Recognizing Allah's power does not mean ignoring your pain. It means refusing to let pain convince you that hope is gone. You are allowed to feel tired, afraid, and uncertain. What you are not meant to do is assume that your situation defines the future. Allah specializes in transforming situations that appear completely hopeless. Throughout history, relief has come at the moment it seemed least likely. This pattern is not accidental. It is a reminder that reliance on Allah transcends logic. Often, Allah allows situations to reach a point where human solutions are exhausted, so that the heart turns fully toward Him. When you realize that you cannot fix something on your own, you are placed in the perfect position to witness divine help. This is not humiliation, it is elevation. It strips away false reliance and replaces it with true trust. And when Allah intervenes, the impact is unmistakable. There is no confusion about where the help came from. Believing that Allah can do the impossible also reshapes how you make dua. Your prayers become bolder. You stop limiting your requests based on what seems realistic and start asking based on what Allah is capable of. This shift in mindset opens the door to miracles in forms you never anticipated. Sometimes the miracle is a sudden change. Other times it is strength you never knew you had. Both are expressions of Allah's power. When you trust Allah with the impossible, you free yourself from despair. Despair comes from believing that outcomes depend solely on your effort. Hope comes from knowing that outcomes ultimately rest with Allah. This hope gives you the courage to keep moving, even when progress feels slow. It allows you to remain patient without becoming passive, to strive without becoming anxious. Allah's ability is not distant or abstract. It is present in every moment of your life. He sustains your breath, steadies your heart, and keeps you standing even when you feel like collapsing. These are small miracles you experience daily, often without noticing. The same Allah who manages these details is fully capable of resolving the challenges that feel overwhelming to you. One day, when Allah lifts what you thought could never be lifted, you will look back and realize that the impossible was never impossible at all. It was only impossible from a human perspective. From Allah's perspective, it was always under control. Until that moment arrives, hold firmly to this truth: your weakness is not a barrier to Allah's power. It is often the very place where His power is revealed most clearly.